Let's begin this half hour in Pike County, where the owners at East Kentucky Marina are working on cleaning up from last night's storms. But as they tell WYMT's Will Puckett, they do not know where to begin. He joins us now live from Pike County with more. Will?
Steve, owner Teresa Thomas says the biggest gust came at about 10:30 last night. It was accompanied by a green sky and a large black cloud. Here is some of the damage that storm left behind. It overturned parts of the dock. Some of the boats have been damaged, like the roofs ripped off and siding falling off. The worry right now is flooding, as Fish Trap Lake raises more than 1 foot an hour. But as Thomas says, what happened here last night was terrifying.
Out of nowhere, we had 80-mile-per-hour winds. It was one of those situations like fight or flight, I guess. We had to get out of here, and if we hadn't, we would have been in bad shape. We knew crossing over the dam, we knew that our marina was going to be gone.
Steve, Thomas says she cannot say how much all of this damage is going to amount up to. The thing that she can say is she's just happy everyone made it out of here alive last night.
All right, as you can tell by Will's hair, still a little gusty out there this afternoon. Thank you, Will. At one point today, nearly 70,000 people were left in the dark across the region. People who have Kentucky Power were hit especially hard. This is a look at the hardest hit counties for Kentucky Power. At the peak, about 59,000 customers did not have power. That's about 1/3 of its customers. And some people were told could go days without power. A Pike County volunteer firefighter is in the hospital after being hit by a vehicle while working to clear roadways in the Marbone area last night. Jimmy Belcher was moving a tree from the roadway when he was hit by another volunteer firefighter who was also on his way to a call. Belcher was taken to Pikeville Medical Center, where he is listed in serious condition. According to President Firefighter Robert Atkins, an incident like this is hard on everyone involved.
We're in a close-knit community, and you know, we're like a family. We went to the hospital to comfort the family and see if there were anything that we could do.
And again, Belcher is listed in serious condition at PMC. Union College is cleaning up storm damage. The college posted these pictures on Facebook. You can see trees are knocked down and some structures are damaged. The college says its phone system is also down right now. It is urging people to avoid going on campus. It's not just at Union College. Many in Barbourville are finding damage that was done to their homes and businesses. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talked with emergency management officials and continues our team coverage.
Weather Service said our strongest gust was about 9:30 at 46 miles per hour. But it seemed like it was, of course, it seemed stronger than that.
Easter Sunday storms ripped through Barbourville, and their path was evident on Monday.
There's lots of trees. We have lots of power lines that are still down.
Debris and caution tape covered Courthouse Square on Monday. For the Campbells that own the Old Magic Theater, they, like many others that own buildings around the square, spent their Monday assessing the damage.
We started getting text messages this morning. My mother lives right below us. She was telling us a lot of water coming in. One of the other tenants in the other building next door texted us and said, hey, there's something on the roof, maybe another roof.
And even looking over all this, the Campbells were left grateful that everyone was physically okay.
Well, I tell you, sometimes in life, bad things happen. It's just the way it is. I think the important thing is to keep in mind things happen for a reason. God has a plan. We make the best of it any way we can, and that's that. Carry on.
In Knox County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Those businesses are waiting to get assessments and did not know how much the damage will cost just yet. In Leslie County, besides downed trees and personal property damage, the Middle Fork of the Kentucky River flooded the Riverfront Park in Hyden again. After 2 to 3 inches of rain fell last night into this morning, water covered the parking lot and came up to the playground equipment. They had just finished cleaning up from the flood damage in February last week, but thankfully they had not sanitized or painted yet.
It was disappointing on account of that we had just paid to get all the debris cleaned up from the last flood, and we're going to start working on it this week to prepare for our summer programs when the quarantine's over. We have hope that it will be over and we will be able to have summer programs again, so I was really excited about it. So when I got down here, my hopes were kind of dashed.
The floodwaters are starting to go down. The go-kart track on the other side of the park was completely underwater. Residents in Letcher County, like many others in the mountains, went to bed last night with the destruction from those storms. A family in the Halley community had 2 roofs blown off their homes, trees down on vehicles, and power lines snapped in the middle of the road. Donald Miller and his family said about 10:30 Sunday night, wind came down off the mountain and picked up his roof that was brand new. Miller says in his 78 years of living here, he hasn't seen anything this bad. The Millers expect the storm caused more than $5,000 worth of damage. We'll have more from that family and Letcher County tonight at 6. Livingston Fire and Rescue officials in Rockcastle County say that they responded to the structural collapse of this building on Main Street around 4 this morning. One man told us the building was already dilapidated and on its last legs. The strong winds caused areas of the roof to cave in and brick siding to crumble.
Well, we really have seen those storms move out of here. We're still hanging on to a little bit of that wind out there, a little bit on the gusty side, but really going to start to die down and cool off heading into tonight. We'll go ahead and take you up to a few of those cameras. Interstate 75 over into Mount Vernon, still hanging on to that thick cloud cover, but at least looking on the drier side. Looking over to Jackson, 48 degrees right now, and it's pretty chilly out there. It says maybe some peaks of sunshine, so maybe seeing a little bit of those blue skies, but overall, it's just kind of a little bit on the gloomy and chilly side. We've seen most of the rain get out of here. Now we're going to hang on to those clouds. They'll clear out a little bit and maybe some peaks of sunshine this evening, but I really think we hang on to those mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures will become pretty chilly, already into the mid to upper 40s for a lot of us. 46 in London, 48 in Hazard, 49 in Pikeville. Still pretty warm though down into Bell County, 53 in Middlesboro. But those winds coming from the northwest, anywhere from about 10 to 15 miles per hour, still gusting up to 20 miles per hour. And as we head into tomorrow, we're going to see a few more scattered rain chances move back into the mountains. I'll have tomorrow's forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. Kentucky State Police were told to issue notices to people violating orders to not attend mass gatherings Easter Sunday. State Police did issue those notices at least one church near Louisville, and today we learned police convinced others not to have in-person services. WYNT's Phil Pendleton has more on what some believe to be a controversial move during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Nearly every church parking lot in Kentucky was empty on Easter Sunday, or as Governor Beshear said Friday, 99.99% were complying with his order.
But understand that this is the only way that we can ensure that your decision doesn't kill somebody else.
Governor Beshear ordered state police to issue notices to people at the few churches not complying. He said he knew of at least 7, but the Harlan County Judge Executive said as of Saturday night, there were at least 10 in his county alone planning those in-person Easter Sunday services. But after state police contacted them, they changed their minds.
A few of the churches, the pastors were already there preparing for their services, and after having a conversation with them, they realized the need to switch this up to protect their people.
A state police spokesperson told me today that they had received a number of complaints to check on churches to see if they were complying. But some say that this latest order from the governor is a bit too much. Attorney General Daniel Cameron took to Twitter over the weekend saying that he would be worshiping at home Sunday, but was deeply concerned that law enforcement officers are being asked to single out religious services. State police did issue the 14-day quarantine notices at Maryville Baptist and Hillview just outside Louisville. Some worshipers were new, including 2 who traveled from New Jersey.
I have never not went to church for Easter, and I refuse to do it even with this situation going on. My Lord is more important.
Some pastors say they will continue following the governor's guidelines for several more weeks, but plan to reevaluate them in May. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Governor Beshear says the 14-day quarantine notices are not just for church mass gatherings. He said it includes any group of people meeting and not following social distancing guidelines. More than 100 Kentucky counties now have confirmed cases of COVID-19, and we are beginning to see a few more here in eastern Kentucky as testing ramps up. You will notice a few counties here in the mountains still do not have a confirmed case, though. Nearly 100 people have died in Kentucky, and Laurel County health officials announced its first COVID-19 related death today. Right now, we do not know who that person is or how old they were. However, health officials did say the patient went to St. Joseph, London, and before their test could come back, the person died. Underlying health issues may have been a factor in that death in Laurel County. Also learned of a death in Pike County over the weekend. Of course, we'll hear from the governor coming up at 5 o'clock for the latest numbers. As promised, more drive-through testing centers are coming to Kentucky. Governor Beshear says the state is partnering with Kroger to get them set up. One of the first is in Franklin County. Kroger is providing medical staff, protective gear, and the registration site to help test 20,000 people during the next 5 weeks. UPS and Gravity Diagnostics are also helping out in order to get a 48-hour turnaround on results. We'll be right back.